Recently, I was representing a client on a dog bite case. Young child had been seriously attacked by a dog. And one of the questions that the parents had is just what is a dog bite case worth in the state of Mississippi? And this is one of those situations where the only right answer is an answer that's annoying to some people, but it's the honest truth, and that is it depends. And if you'll hear me out though, I can walk you through what it depends on. The reason it depends is that what's going to drive damages or drive what that case is worth is how severe were the injuries, also what types of damages are involved. Another part of it, we'll talk through damages in a moment, is liability. How clear is liability on the dog owner? And finally, just other legal aspects and considerations in terms of venue, where you're located, potential jury, potential legal challenges on appeal, etc. But let's address each of these real quick individually. In terms of damages, especially when we're talking about a dog bite or dog attack case, man, they can really run the full spectrum from relatively minor injuries, of just breaking the skin, of needing a quick emergency clinic or ER visit, to patch a wound, up to very serious injuries. We have seen injuries in cases that involved massive catastrophic injuries, not just to adults, but sometimes to young children. There can be frequently in dog attack cases significant, not just personal injury to limbs or organs, but horrible disfigurement. Sometimes people are put, really in a life-threatening situation where, attacks can hit jugular, in a person's neck, can cause severe bleeding. And so the injuries can be severe, the complications from those injuries can be severe, and frankly, it's more common than we like to admit or talk about, but people die from dog attacks. And frequently the victims who are killed in dog attacks are either vulnerable people or young children. And so the damages in those type of cases, you're looking potentially at the full range of damages that are available under the law. You had to take into account past medical treatment, any future medical treatment that's going to be needed, pain and suffering, both past and future. If there's a death, there's funeral expenses, and in the case of death or a situation where there's permanent injury, there's lost income and wages or lost potential future earning capacity that all gets factored into the value of that case. And that's just talking the extent of the injuries. Beyond that, there's a host of issues that come in on liability, just determining liability. Dog bites, dog attacks in particular, are more so than most other personal injury cases, are cases where the defendants and their insurance carriers almost always assert some form of contributory negligence on the part of the plaintiff. And so they almost always try to assert that the plaintiff played some role in causing the attack by provoking the dog or being somewhere they shouldn't have been, what have you. And so you start interplaying with the laws of apportionment of fault. And those vary from state to state. In some states, if the plaintiff is only 1% or 5% at fault, that could be a complete bar to any recovery. In other states, a plaintiff can recover as long as they're less than 50% at fault. Here in Mississippi, we have what's called pure comparative fault. And so even if the plaintiff is found some part at fault, the defendant is still going to be liable for whatever percentage is assigned to them by the jury for paying that towards the plaintiff's injuries. So liability, the likelihood of a verdict, the apportionment of fault, potentially between the parties, all of that is really at play at a higher and more complicated level, usually in these dog attack cases than other personal injury cases. So that has to be taken into consideration, and that's before you get to the third thing that I mentioned, which is just other legal considerations. This is an aspect of the law that is frankly still evolving in a lot of states, and I think that's true here in Mississippi as well, where aspects of liability when it comes to dog bites, dog attacks, still haven't been fully developed by our Supreme Courts, by our appeals courts. So there's frequently the potential for protracted appeal or for legal challenges to whatever verdicts or judgments happen in these types of cases. So you had to be prepared for that as well and factor that into calculating what a dog bite or dog attack case is worth here, in Mississippi as well as other places. So what it boils down to is all of those different factors and how they come together in your particular case are going to impact the value of your dog bite case here in Mississippi. And that's why I started with the answer of it's really hard to talk about the value of the case without knowing all the specifics and really digging into it, because it really does depend on all these different factors. But what is important is having legal representation that has experience in litigating personal injury claims on a daily basis, that has specific experience with dog attack cases. And I'm glad to say that myself and my firm, we've really had some success with those types of cases, particularly some cases that were some really sad circumstances. But we were able to get justice for the victims, and through that we've built up expertise and experience that is available to put to work for others. And so if you or a loved one have been involved and are the victim of a dog bite or dog attack where another party is at fault for that, we're here to help. So just reach out to us through our website at bradmorrislawfirm.com or call us, and we'll do our best to get you the help that you need. Thank you.